What I've got for you today is the finals of this week's ESL Open Cup from Korea. Now, it's not going to be a Zerg versus Protoss. It is not even Hero going up against Dark. I don't know what happened. Spawning right here in the top right-hand corner in game number 1. Playing with the red Terran SCVs, we have ByuN. His opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Zerg drones, he goes by the name of Solar. Solar going up against ByuN. A little bit of a shakeup. I haven't actually looked at the bracket yet for this particular weekly cup, as we have ByuN. Okay, I thought for a second that was a really quick scouting worker, but of course not, it's ByuN. Okay, anyways, I thought for a second that, oh, we are gonna be proxying. Huh, interesting. Now, second SCV comes across too. Why did we send the SCV like 5 seconds earlier than we needed to? That's a little bit funky. Overlord is headed on over in this direction. It may very well catch just the edge right there of the first barracks. Second Rex coming up behind the watchtower. That one will certainly be in vision. Well, he decides to cancel it. Ooh. Right from the get-go, we have a little bit of shenanigans. ByuN predicting where that Overlord was gonna go. And then he decided, nope, it's actually in an ever so slightly different path. I'm gonna move my proxy barracks a little bit further south. Alrighty, so, triple proxy Rex. This is something that ByuN, well, does quite a bit, but then usually the barracks are built in as natural, with the last one inside of the main base. This time around, he wants to go for a marine proxy, it looks like. So, rather than going for the Reapers, which we see him do very frequently, we're gonna go for a full marine approach instead. At this point, Solar has no idea about it. So, it's a hatchery first, 15 hatch. Gas Geyser has not actually been mined yet, so this is hatch into a spawning pool, and then eventually gas in the main base with the additional workers. I'm inclined to imagine that this is decent for Solar, especially if he knew. The problem is, with this opener, you usually skip Zerglings. Queens will be about 10, maybe 12 seconds earlier. If he would have had a glimpse of it, it would have been really good for the Zerg. Right now, I think it's a bit of a disaster. He decides to pull the boys. Spinecrawler coming up in the natural. Overlord needs to go on top of the pillar. Otto, what are you doing, mate? Alright. Just get on top of that little light, okay? That's where you need to idle. This is still pretty much GG, right? I mean, those SCVs need to be shut down. I love, by the way, that he decided to finish that wall off with a supply depot. Okay. Yeah, problem is, there's no link speed. There's no Baneling nest. There's really not a lot of follow-up here for Solar at all. So he's mining a bit of gas. He's gonna have to break through this at some point, because those bunkers are within range of the hatchery. So his best chances are just to make non-stop army here for a while. Ooh. And then hopefully break out of this, but like the surface area loses an Overlord here too. The surface area here is just horrible. This is one of those builds that we don't very frequently see in 2024, but it's also something that will never truly leave the meta. It is incredibly powerful, and Zerg needs to respond very specifically in order to shut this down. Now the queens are running dangerously low, so is the hatchery. SCV is still repairing this, by the way, so even though that Spinecrawler has been poking away at the bunker for a while, I think that this is still an absolute disaster. I mean, there's no expansion on the back of this, so if somehow, some way Solar does manage to... Okay, well, he doesn't. If Solar does somehow manage to stabilize, he should be alright. But it's ByuN who obtains a very quick 1-0. And just like that, we already find ourselves in game number 2. ByuN, what are we doing? He is sending out an SCV. It's gonna be building a depot on the low ground. Okay. Now, this is not to say that there won't be any barracks out in the middle of the map, but it's very likely that they will be planted over here on the low ground instead. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Once again, 15 hatch right here for Solar. Is he gonna be making any adjustments to his strategy? Probably not. I mean, he got a bit unlucky there in the previous game. If he would have had a glimpse of those SCVs, right, building the barracks, and that's also why ByuN ended up canceling the barracks when he saw the direction on the watchtower, right? So he had vision with the SCV on the watchtower of that Overlord. He saw the direction that that Overlord was flying. He cancels the barracks, and He decided to reposition it. If Solar would have seen it, he would have made, I think, 6 Zerglings or so a bit sooner, as the first bunker got placed down, and life would have been quite a bit trickier, I think, for ByuN there. It's a good cancel. Apparently we're gonna... What are we doing? Really? What are we doing with this SCV? We're chilling at the watchtower for a little bit? I mean, there's no way Solar would have gone for a gold base first. Really? Now that is a very late third barracks. Also placed in a very weird spot. Solar is most definitely not going to scout it. So it's quite common for Terran players to go 3 or 5 Reapers, right? With an opener like this. So Solar will scout this. He will probably check if there's a third barracks, if he can, inside of the main base. And he will think, okay, this is just going to be either 3, maybe 5 Reapers in total. It's gonna be a lot more than that. This also means, of course, that ByuN is very committed. No safety Zerglings, by the way, once again here from Solar. So he's just going to be relying on his queens once again. He's also skipping the gas geysers entirely. So there will not be any link speed or anything like that on the horizon. Yeah, instead we're going for a very quick third hatch. Okay, he's got a little bit of money right there to get that Spore Crawler started. Queen takes a bit of a beating. At this point, Solar does see... Yeah, he sees... This is weird. He sees a bunch of depots building all the way at the bottom of the natural and no natural expansion. I think you may have to cancel that base. I'm not exactly sure how this works out. Maybe you can keep it around just for the larva generation, but... This is effectively a one-base play right here from ByuN. And triple hatchery just seems a little excessive. Killing any Reaper here would be huge. Oh, nice grenade right there by ByuN. Okay. The problem is, with this opener, link speed is so incredibly late. So... oh my god. Sometimes ByuN gets in those moods, you know, where he's just cheesing every single game. I think today may be one of those days. I mean, it's not really super cheesy, it's just that this barracks is positioned in such a weird spot. He really didn't need to make it over here, he could have just made it over there. I guess the rush distance here to the Zerg's natural is a little bit quicker. The queen numbers are slowly growing. Okay, good snipe right there with Brenda. Reapers, though, heal very quickly out of combat. Queens do not, but they do have that transfusion ability. Command center, by the way, is going to finish up momentarily for the Terran. So this is not quite a complete all-in. So we're actually making a transition. So Tech Lab coming up together with a reactor. And what do we do with this barracks? I don't know. I think it's just living its very best life out there. Creep Tumor goes down. He wants to kill more queens. Ooh. Well, that is a... Yeah, I was going to say, that is a really nice grenade. So was this a good opener by ByuN? He's lost 1 Reaper and he's killed 2 queens. Based off of that, you would imagine it's kind of awesome. But at the same time, these Reapers are not particularly cheap units. At least not at this stage in the game. And they're gonna fall off really hard. I think he hasn't actually justified his opener. Plus, of course, it's the time that he's invested in all of this. Link speed is going to finish momentarily. Getting us around on all of these Reapers would be amazing, but honestly, I don't think Solar should really risk it at this point. These Reapers will just fall off the longer that the game goes on. Now, the follow-up here is going to be a bit of a funky one as well, because it's difficult for Solar at this point to figure out exactly what he should be doing. Should he go double upgrades first? Should he go for a lair into Baneling speed? Should he stick around on just hatchery tech, because this is going to be like a follow-up all-in? Great scout right here. Well, very nice scout, I guess, if by ByuN here is a better way to put it. ByuN decides to build 2 engineering bays right underneath the Overlord. Good guy, ByuN. Didn't need to do that, but hey. He knew about that Overlord's positioning and he decides, no, I'm gonna show him. This man laughs in the face of danger, but I think that also ultimately, yeah, gives Solar the comfort that he's looking for to go for the double Evo chamber himself. Third command center is gonna finish up. Orbital Command will be coming momentarily. This is definitely ByuN playing, because ByuN is the only Terran player out there who actually prioritizes armor upgrades over attack, even though it is objectively worse. Everybody always prioritizes attacks. Not ByuN though. This man loves his armor upgrades. At the very least, he started up both upgrades this time around, but he does like it. Okay. Reapers continue their harassment over here. Creep spread, nothing to write home about, but yeah, the longer that this game goes on, the more I like the position for Solar. I think the scariest moment for him will be when Terran moves across the map with their first bio attack. So these Marines are waiting. Stimpaks are done. All of this skirmishing here is done whilst Solar has an economical advantage. So 4th hatchery coming up, 1-1 is researching, Lair is on the production tab. I think ByuN will attack before Baneling speed will be done. Yeah, I think he's gonna go for a move out right about right now, although this is also a bit too early. 1-1 is a bit, yeah, is only like halfway done. Same for the combat shields upgrade, that one is also not yet finished. So this actually can be a bit of a disaster. Yeah, I really love this move out here by Solar. Just meet that army head on. There is no way that those upgrades are finished at this point in the game. Hellion goes down? Okay. Stellar defense here by Solar. Now, Baneling speed is the critical upgrade here for Solar. He will not be able to start it up until the lair is done. There we go. Centrifugal hooks, when that one is finished, life is going to be comfortable, I think, for the Zerg. Hydralisk then as well on the back of this. 5th hatchery up north. Solar happy to play the macro game here. Okay, so we may actually have ourselves a nice little macro game. Yep. ByuN has finished 1-1. He's now also finished the combat shields upgrade, but he is not really able to go for a big attack very easily anymore. Yeah, he may very well give it a try. Maybe if the Reapers also had Stimpak or something like that, this would be a much nicer attack, but kind of looks to me like a third of this army is made up out of Reapers. I'm a little afraid that we are just about to witness ByuN absolutely get destroyed as soon as Baneling speed finishes, which is still, maybe 25 seconds or so away. I don't think Solar can really jump it, this army that is, before Centrifugal Hooks is done. Okay. No, he's not taking it, he's not taking this fight too early. He's waiting. Siege tanks don't have vision across that little bit of grass. Yeah, okay. Retargeting into the middle of that clump of Banelings was really good. Nice control by ByuN. Using those Reapers from earlier mostly as just a way to attract damage, I guess. So he pokes in, the Queens shoot a couple of spines, and then the Reapers will heal up again. This is, yeah, a fight that Zerg does have to commit into, so ultimately he does decide to pull the trigger here. Siege tank number 1 goes down. Siege tank number 2 is not going to be too far behind. Marines at the front get cleaned up. Hatchery lives, but only just barely. But that was ultimately the cleanup that Solar was looking for. Did he just do it again? No way. Oh, I just mentioned this. So ByuN loves getting the armor upgrades for some reason. It's not good. You should always, when you can only afford one upgrade, you should always prioritize the attacking upgrade. There it finally goes. Marines get a lot more value out of the attack upgrade than they do the armor upgrade. I mean, obviously they will take less damage, but Banelings will still kill Marines really fast. Anyhow, I think that cleanup was important for Solar. He is certainly not in a game-winning position yet, but I think the game will become easier from here on out. Hive is going to finish up momentarily, so Solar playing that big macro game that he loves. Not really going for like a game-winning push too early, just defending wherever he can. The only scary part right here for the Zerg is how low in hit points that base is, because this can still certainly shift in a tempo advantage to the Terran. But right now, ByuN can't really get a foothold. Ultra Cavern, Adrenal Glands, 1 Viper, plus 1 Missile. Why Missile? I don't know. Like, we're going Ultras and Zerglings. Should we not be going melee and armor? I think we should. I know we have a few Hydras in the mix, but it's only 8. You don't really want to have too many of those. That's a very strange upgrade. I mean, obviously the Queens will also benefit from it. And they have been very nice. Defending against all of these Reapers for a while now, but... We're going... Yeah, no, he's double checking here. I would have assumed... Maybe he wants to go Lurkers eventually, but... I would have assumed he wanted to go for a game-winning move as soon as the Ultras hit the battlefield. Not quite the case. ByuN prioritizing... This is so cursed. Prioritizing the +3 infantry armor. So... He's finally got a 4th command center up and running. This is what ByuN usually does whenever he's feeling a little shaky. He goes for, rather than a planetary over here, he goes for an orbital command at the 4th. And he does have a very nice looking army. No ghost though. No real counter against any late game Zerg units. But yeah, I was gonna say, if Solar decides to swoop in like this, it could actually... I don't like this engagement here for Solar. I mean, he gets the siege tanks, that's good. Yeah, I think it's good enough. Yeah, no, he has way enough. GG. Oceanborn is gonna be our 3rd game in this best of 5 series. Not quite the game that ByuN wanted to play. Oh no. That previous game, I mean. He had some stellar micro on the Reapers, but ultimately Solar didn't really take critical amounts of damage. Yeah, sometimes ByuN gets into a mood where he is just cheesing game after game after game after game, and he will not let go. There's another barracks on the other side of the map. 2nd SCV on the back of this. Well, we can't build on the ramp, so we're gonna be building it right over here instead. Solar sending his overlords not in a direction where he's gonna see those barracks. So he will probably not find out about this until the units already hit his natural expansion. Barracks number 3. Located close to the first 2 as well. It's once again gonna be a marine cheese here from ByuN, it looks like. He doesn't have a lot of workers. He does not have any gas. So he is certainly looking to, at the very least, kill this natural expansion, if it is possible at all. Now this time around, bit of a different approach here for Solar. So this is hatch into gas into spawning pool, which at the very least means that he will be making at least 4 Zerglings blindly, potentially even 6. The Queens will be a bit later, but the link speed will be earlier. And that will ultimately help him out against that bunker rush, but let's see. Overlord needs to go onto over that pillar. No. Yep, that way. Here's the bunker. 1 drone gets pulled. Oh, a lot of drones get pulled. They want to try and fight this early. 4 Zerglings and a Queen. This is much better already for Solar. He sends that drone to mining. The rest go back for more. They decide to skip the SCV for now. And just go after these units and... Oh, really? The 1 HP drone gets to go as well? Okay. This is a lot of drones, though, that he's losing. I think he's actually chasing a little too far. Like, he is shutting this down, but that is an awful lot of worker losses. I think it was good initially, but he did not actually counter that bunker. Yeah. Ugh. Ay, ay, ay. In theory, that strategy was good from Solar, but ultimately, he lost way too much. 4 for 4? We find ourselves on Solaris. Match point right here for ByuN. Okay, that was weird. We're gonna go for a low ground wall off once again. To be fair though, I actually didn't really like that proxy defense from Solar. In Game 3 and in Game 1, we essentially saw the same strategy from Terran, and I don't actually like the response there from Solar both of the times. If you compare it to, I think this was Clem. Yeah, Clem going up against Serral on Equilibrium. I cast that particular match recently as well. Now, that game ultimately ended with a Cyclone push, but it started off with a bunch of Marines on the other side of the map. I think it was actually only a double Rex proxy. Long story short, Cyril handled that cheese very nicely. And he didn't really take a lot of damage. I mean, he still took a bunch of damage, but nothing all too crazy. At least not compared to Solar here in this particular series. For example, in that previous game, there was no reason why ByuN should have been able to finish that bunker. Right? That bunker in the natural expansion, he could have microed against very easily. Oh no, what are we doing, ByuN? Double gas this time around, single barracks at the front, proxy factory. Okay, so ByuN will simply just not stop cheesing. To be fair, I have complained. I am known to have complained over the last couple of weeks about Terran players playing very passively. Maybe I've been casting one too many Cure games, who knows? But there's a bunch of Terran players out there right now that have no intention of winning before minute 30. This is the exact opposite end of things. It's a double factory cheese? So third hatch will be coming up. Reactor being proxied on the... I guess this is for Cyclones? So we have double reactor here. Maybe Cyclone Hellion? I feel like Cyclone rushes are really good against bad players. Like, they work really well against me. But somebody of Solar's caliber, as soon as he sniffs out that something's not quite right, he should be okay. Cyclones are coming up. More Cyclones will be building in the bottom right-hand corner of the map too. Okay, so now he sees that something is very fishy. There's no Overlord on the high ground. Yeah, the Overlord is chilling over here instead. He's gonna make the jump. It's a very brave Overlord. Solar has already started making a lot of links here. I actually really like the Zergling production this early on. He must realize at this point, I guess, that there is no command center. I don't know if he saw that. But this is all looking a little fishy for sure. So Solar has actually started making Zerglings exceptionally early. Yeah, and that's honestly the key. So we do indeed have 2 reactors, but it turns out you cannot actually easily produce 4 Cyclones all of the time. Especially if you also want to make some SCVs and supply depots. ByuN looks like he's gonna hit a supply block here momentarily. So the only decision you can really make is to go and move. Hello, ByuN, we need a depot. Yeah, no, he's gonna go. Solar has not seen that, well, proxy in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. If he would have sniffed that out, these Cyclones. What? ByuN! ByuN, what are you doing? No, 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 no. He army hotkeyed 3 Cyclones? What? Well, that was weird. I think Solar could have easily killed them both. I think Solar still just destroys this. That is by far the worst cheese in this series so far. After careful consideration, I can confirm that this is one of the series of all time. Yeah, maybe the grand finals of the weekly ESL Open Cup for Korea is just a little cursed. Because Hero versus Dark, those two, I mean, they're playing very entertaining games. And I would certainly also call this one a very entertaining series. But it's not what we would consider to be the absolute highest level of StarCraft 2. What in the world was that Cyclone move out from the right side of the map? So he proxied a factory for some reason. I don't even know why it needed to be proxied. He could have just put it in the main base. It would have been fine. Right? Anyways, we decided to proxy the thing. Solar was like, yo, something's not quite right. I guess he saw that there was no natural expansion and he just make non-stop Zerglings. And then ByuN decided to GG out because he knew that there was absolutely no chance that he was gonna win that game anymore. Yeah, this series is kind of like a car crash. You can't look away. Now, I do want to point out here, because I'm not even addressing it, that this is a suspiciously normal opener here from ByuN. We may even see a natural command center here after a Marine. Oh no. Oh no. ByuN, what happened? ByuN's like, yo, there is a couple $100 on the line. I also, you know, I'm having fun. I'm hanging out with my friends and all that, but I would also like to make some money. And to be fair, I can't blame him after that previous cheese. It was very creative, but also very bad. To be fair though, if Solar would have assumed that there was a natural expansion out there, and he would have droned up until like 32 or whatever, right? I think it was sitting at like 24 there. If he would have made like an additional 8 drones, and assuming ByuN would not have given away a Cyclone like that, which is a really weird situation, I think it could have been a very scary attack. It's one of those pushes where if you really hate playing Terran versus Zerg and you're a Terran player on the ladder, that Cyclone all-in, it probably wins you at least half your games. Really, ByuN. So this is not really what I would consider cheese. As far as like aggressive cheese goes. But this is a scoutless double Marine opener into a command center, into another command center. Now another barracks goes down too. So factory is nowhere to be seen. Any sort of follow-up is going to be incredibly late. The door is wide open. ByuN has decided to flip the script entirely. So I know that, I don't know exactly when this particular series was played, but I know that a lot of the, they've changed the scheduling of it quite a bit. I know that a lot of the ESL Open Cups for Korea get played on a Sunday. Now this is a theory I saw in the YouTube comment section recently. This was specifically on a Dark versus Hero series. Do you think it's possible that these guys, they went out to dinner and, you know, they had a couple drinks, and then they decide, yo, let's play some StarCraft, right? And even on autopilot, having some fun, having a good old time, they are still significantly better than many of the players that compete in these online cups. Do you think it's possible that there are a couple? I can actually look it up, okay? ESL Open Cup 210 Korea. Was this played on the Sunday? No, this one was played on Monday. Okay. So this was played on the Monday instead. Never mind, my theory doesn't work. I would say it's more likely at the very least that maybe in Korean culture you go out as well for dinner on Monday. I'm not exactly sure how it works out. Maybe they're hungover? That could be. Anyhow, Baneling Nest coming up right now for Solar. No lair. No lair! Oh god, okay. This is... No. No. I thought for a second we were gonna go for a Baneling bust. It'd be very strange. This Baneling Nest timing is a bit funky to me. Because we don't have a lair. Okay, lair starts up right now. I was gonna say, Solar never goes for a Baneling bust. I don't remember the last time I've seen him make any Banelings aggressively like that. Problem is, if he would have decided to go for a Baneling bust, he would have hit right about the same time as Stimpec would finish, which is really, really bad for the Zerg. Okay. So, we actually do get ourselves what looks like a bit of a macro game. ByuN's economy is gonna be insane now that these mules are returning minerals. Yeah, so Solar just about peaked here as far as the income goes. I think when we get our next little uptick here in money, ByuN's income is gonna be pretty nice. Normally this is the phase in the game where Zerg is gonna be a little bit ahead. But then again, ByuN has not really done anything yet in this game, right? So what could have happened in this match, and obviously Solar after the previous couple games did not decide to do that, because that would be kind of insane, but he could have droned all the way up to 80. He could have been at 80 workers already, full 4-base saturation. He could have then started making army, and he could still hold this attack. Well, hindsight is 20/20. You can't, yeah, you can't quite figure that sort of thing out unless you really want to commit to like a quick overlord speed or something like that, which is not very popular in the current meta. Yeah, so look at this. Solar is not respecting this attack at all. He's actually droning behind this. So he sees an army moving out on the map. He's like, yep, perfect moment for me to make 8 additional workers. Siege tank on the high ground is nice and all, but these SCVs are still exposed. I'm not exactly sure what those units are doing in the medevacs in the middle of the map. Yeah, they're just marching back home. They just sort of stood over here on the edge and now they're going back home. If the goal right here from ByuN was to scare Solar into making a lot of units, he failed miserably. Solar now sitting at 69 drones. Nice. Sorry, had to do that. And he's finishing up baneling speed. Again, pivotal upgrade. Finishing up the baneling speed upgrade just makes life so much easier. +2 coming up here for our Terran player. This is also a very uncomfortable game. I think ultimately though, looks like we did have a small little baneling roll by here. Just 2 banelings. Yeah. Ultimately, I like this position better for Solar at this point. Now, that's not to say that he's gonna win this game. Absolutely, no questions asked. But Solar is a very scary macro Zerg. These banelings moved late, by the way. There we go. Surprised they got that much damage done. Mispositioning right there on those Marines. Yeah. Anyways. Solar is definitely one of those players who, when you play against them, can feel like an absolute brick wall, where every attack you try just doesn't really seem to bother him that much. And ByuN has essentially thrown any sort of timing attack opportunity in this game out of the window. Which means that Solar can just play this game, spread some creep. The creep spread is looking excellent. Get some workers going. I think this will probably all come down to that very first Terran attack. And this may be it. This may be it right here. Problem is, yeah, look at this. Solar's like, yo, bro, let's play. That is not what ByuN expected. Generally speaking, Zergs cower in fear. He saw the amount of Zerglings chasing the 2 medevacs, so he figured, yo, there's not gonna be enough units available, but Solar has got that one under control. Easy peasy. The only thing I don't really love right here for the Zerg is the upgrades that he's got. But, yeah, Infestation Pit coming up. Hydralisk getting a couple upgrades as well. Ultimately, as long as Solar gets to lurkers, I think this game is very comfortable for him. Okay, now this is a mistake. Nicely done right here by ByuN. Grabs a bunch of the queens, and he gets rid of the creep over here too. Medevac drop does unload inside of the main base. And this is no... yeah, there's no banelings in this clump of Zerg units, so okay. There they show up. Liking this a lot better right now for ByuN than I did about a minute ago. Still though, 4th command center, only halfway done. Hive is coming up. We'll probably see a lurker den momentarily. Love that siege tank positioning behind those cliffs. Well, I guess they're not even cliffs. They're just a bunch of rocks. You're all out of minerals, but there's plenty of rocks. No, we don't have a diva announcer in this game. I don't believe it. Okay. Trying to move forward. God. Ugh. That was a really ugly fight. Okay, well, you know what, guys? Whatever I said earlier, throw it out of the window. I think what Solar should have done is move those drones up here. There's a base that is not mining. Instead, we decided to commit around a corner with banelings and without really anything protecting the units. Okay. This now means that Solar is finding himself with a 20 supply deficit. And a game where, yeah, in this game, ByuN never really had a tempo advantage at all. He wasn't really working for a tempo advantage either. Now suddenly he's finding himself in a situation where there's no creep at all on the left side of the map, and this base should really be evacuated. But I'm a little afraid that Solar is married to this expansion or something. I don't think he should be protecting it like this. He's lost way too much trying to keep that alive. Now we're once again... No. Gonna throw our units into that funnel? ByuN's like, hey buddy, come on over. Okay, hatchery falls. Drones do indeed move to the 12 o'clock position. ByuN moving on over in that direction too. Not a lot of creep strat here on the high ground. Finally, that tumor moves, but I like the situation right now quite a bit for ByuN. The only thing I don't really love for him here is the lack of a ghost transition. Although, in this game, we actually don't have lurkers. I think the original plan may have been to go lurkers, but Solar has been forced to spend a bit too much of his money on troops. So he does not actually have a lurker then. So we went up to a hive. Planetary fortress here at the bottom of the map. Nothing you can do anymore about that. I can't believe that ByuN played the cheesiest first 4 games in this series that I've seen in a while. And then he opens up with the greediest build here in the final game. And he doesn't get punished at all. Like, it would not be crazy, right? So this is certainly a disaster right now. Blinding Cloud goes down. It would not have been crazy if Solar decided to open up with, like, quick link speed or something aggressive himself after seeing so many units on his side of the map in the earlier stages of the games. Imagine if it would have been, like, a quick Zergling speed opener in this match. GG. ByuN would have not had anything to defend. But ultimately, he does indeed obtain the victory, playing some very spicy games of StarCraft 2.